It's not every day I get to introduce amazing women like this. So Dr. Carolyn Cummings, I've been chatting to her since she got here. She's probably fed up with me. But she has actually been an educator for almost 25 years, and she's accustomed to dealing to chatty students like me. And she has taught at various levels of education, ranging from primary to tertiary. She is currently the coordinator of the Language Center and lecturer of applied linguistics and English language in the Department of Language and Cultural Studies within the Faculty of Education and Humanities at the University of Guyana Turkine campus. And I let you know that I am a proud product of the Faculty of Education and Humanities, and many of the lecturers here today contributed to producing me. I'll let you decide if that's a good thing. Dr. Cummings was trained at the Cyril Potter College of Education. I see we have quite a few Cyril Potter trainees here today. Good to see you. And she completed her Bachelor of Arts in English, majoring in linguistics and minoring in fine arts at UG. So again, you know, UG topping things. She has a Master of Arts in English language and a Doctor of Educational Leadership in Higher Education from the University of the West Indies. Dr. Cummings is also an amateur artist who enjoys drawing, painting, and creative writing. Very much. So as we continue with our roundtable celebrating women on the topic women, culture, and society, we'll head now to Dr. Carolyn Cummings for her presentation.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Good afternoon, everyone. Vice Chancellor, Dean, other faculty leaders, colleagues, those in virtual space, and other special invitees. Today, I would like to talk about women and cultural agenda setting. A lot of my colleagues have already touched on some of these ideas, but before I talk about cultural agenda setting, I wish to look at meanings of culture, because I feel like we throw around the term. And if I ask most of you in the room, many of you in the room, I'm likely to hear something that is very broad, and sometimes something that is not achievable, or something that is vaguely understood. And so I think that it is necessary for us to really talk about what culture is. So your understanding of culture is critical for the value that we can ascribe to it and its utility in our lives. And I know that a lot of these conversations tend to talk culture, but a lot of it is in theory and not in practice. We know what we want, we know what it is in some cases, but to achieve some of the things that we talk about when we discuss culture and women in culture, sometimes we don't. And so in interpreting culture, we have the social sciences concept of truth and reality, and the humanities focus on living cultures as instruments of exploration for expression and aesthetics. And in the humanities, the term culture has been marked by symbolism, right? And as a criteria criteria of quality, a criteria of meaning. Whereas in the social sciences, the emphasis is on social values. So the humanities look at these social values and lived experiences through investigations of literature, stories, drama, writing, thought, and cultural heritage, artifacts, art forms. And they use criticism and post-colonial cultural agendas to analyze these contexts. Right, so in my mind, when we speak about culture, we are speaking about all of these things. It's a wide range of our experiences, our patterns of living, the cultures within cultures. We are speaking of social, ethnic, economic realities and cultural identities that exist within our spaces, and how these impact and influence Guyanese identities. And I want you to notice that I am saying identities and not identity, because very often we say, and I have been guilty of this, we say the Guyanese identity. right? But really and truly, what does that really mean? Of course, we could have a collective kind of identity. Okay, you're Guyanese, and this is what we experience as Guyanese. However, we have multiple identities, and we have various social contexts and other kinds of contexts. So those are the cultures within cultures, right? So when we define culture, it is the interpretation. It's more complex and multifaceted. But in the vein of our discussion, we can see that women are tied to every aspect of culture, right? Our identities and beingness, right? It's almost, well, we know that there is no being and existence without women. And of course, we're not saying that men are not important, but like you really need women to define, when you talk about defining culture and cultural identities. So the roles women play in maintaining our cultures and cultural identities and developing the world is unparalleled. Women are the nucleus of cultural transmission as well. They are mothers, we've heard this, we know this. We're partners, teachers, and now increasingly involved in innovations and thought leadership and intellectual and professional spaces. And this to me is important because, not only because I'm a woman, but because I have witnessed and experienced the complexities of womanhood and multi-layered challenges and responsibilities with which we often are blessed, but also burdened. But even though we are blessed and burdened by these responsibilities and challenges, we still continue to transcend these barriers to emerge as strong leaders and movers and shakers, right? Regrettably though, many local and regional leaders do not always demonstrate an awareness of these roles or how important these roles are. And sometimes these roles are negated or diminished, right? And we also negate and diminish the value of cultural transmission, cultural heritage, intellectual thought sometimes, and then even more so, intellectual thought of women. And we fail to recognize the importance of creative industries to the social, cultural, and socio-economic development and sustainability of our future. So I believe that this is why women should not take their roles lightly, because we are the activists, we are the advocates for the future, for our children, and for development and transmission of our cultures. And wherever we are placed, however significant or however insignificant that may seem, we must do our best to promote agendas that influence leaders to adopt new ideas, new ways of thinking. And we've heard a lot of those ways of thinking today that improve our spaces and improve our world. We must promote agendas that encourage them to listen to our thoughts, discussions, such as these, so this discussion, and ideas, and consider more seriously the work we do and roles we play daily that contribute to nation building and improvement of humanity. We must find ways to insert our ideas and promote sound cultural agendas from our seeming insignificant spaces. So there are many outstanding women of Guyana, and regionally and internationally, of course. But in Guyana, we have many outstanding women who have contributed to our society in various ways and who continue to set agendas for culture. They may be too numerous to mention, but at this time, I think that this forum it is quite fitting and would be neglectful for us to fail to recognize and applaud the work of our very own Vice Chancellor, Professor Paloma Mohammed. I think that she is a prime example, and in my own explanation and discussion about culture, I think that she is a prime example of a woman who, in her various capacities, frames and advocates for cultural agendas and policies. So her award-winning work, for example, in the theater as a playwright and in film, her work as a lecturer and in various positions of leadership within the university, her intellectual work and advocacy for support and improvement for UG, her strategic vision sharing efforts in form of Blueprint 2040, which speaks to projections, strategies, initiatives, and vision for UG and nation building for 20 years. So she has made significant strides to affect and enhance aspects of the university and national culture. One such stride is our strategic involvement in the implementation of the Human Relations course developed and approved by the Transitional Management Committee in 2020. And this course, some of you may know what I'm talking about. This course is composed in such a way that it gives students and the university community a glimpse into the nation's history and cultures. It teaches about tolerance, which hopefully is intended to address issues and conflicts that we have in our society. Professor Mohammed has contributed to agenda-setting efforts that are distinctly cultural within the Department of Language and Cultural Studies and in the Faculty of Education and Humanities. And I'm not sure that she has thought about it this way, but when you look at them, that's what they really are, right? For example, employment of specialists in cultural studies within the faculty, consultations for African and Indian cultural studies units, improvement of creative arts space, and the establishment of the Guyanese languages unit. So we have as our leader someone who is acutely attuned to issues of culture in all the varieties, in all its varied, in its nuanced meanings, right, and connotations. She is the prime example that women can function as important agenda setters and contribute significantly to policy, change, and leadership at this university, nationally and internationally. So it is noteworthy that she is our first, well, we've heard this a lot, right? But she's our first female vice-chancellor. But not only that, she is at the helm of leadership at the milestone of the 60th anniversary of the university. It is symbolic, and it points to the fact that we are emerging, however, slowly. And hopefully we're not going back because of AI. But from the imbalances of male-dominated environments in all strata of our society. So when we ask questions about the roles women play in culture, this is what we mean, right? But there are other women too who have made their contributions as well, and some of us and some of you are right in the room, right? And so whether you're an academic, you're a politician, you're a playwright, actress, you're a writer, you're a mother. And very importantly, our female teachers within the education system, we should not take our roles as cultural agenda setters lightly. Education is critical for transmission and development of culture, right? And our cultural heritage represents the foundation of our identities. It contains a wealth of our traditions and opportunities to innovate and improve our society. And maybe, this is not part of the presentation, maybe we could, we should look into what this really means. What are the opportunities that we have to innovate and improve our society when we think about culture and cultural agenda? Right, but women play an important role in cultural transmission and shaping our future. Women contribute to revitalization and sustainability of our cultures. Women can contribute to framing and setting agendas for cultural sustainability and improvement. And women can advocate for cultural policies, or, in the words of the Vice-Chancellor, be a massive disruptor or pacifier of class.